Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful coin stories like this one. If you love history, silver, and hidden treasure stories that most people overlook, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about a coin that carries the weight of a nation in transition, a coin that speaks of history, power, and precious metal value all at once. The South African 1960 silver 5 shillings. Now imagine the year 1960. The world was changing fast. Empires were fading. New republics were forming. And in southern Africa, a country was standing at a crossroads. That's when this remarkable silver coin was struck, under the authority of Queen Elizabeth II, before South Africa officially became a republic in 1961. And when you hold the 1960 South Africa 5 shillings in your hand, you're not just holding money. You're holding 80% silver. Solid, cold, heavy silver. This coin was minted in sterling tradition, with a strong, commanding design that reflects authority and stability. On one side, you see the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by the renowned sculptor Mary Gillick. Her design was used across many Commonwealth nations, but in South Africa, it symbolized the final chapter of British monarchy rule over the country. Turn the coin over, and you'll find the South African coat of arms. Bold, proud, detailed. The springbok antelope stands central, representing grace and strength. Surrounding it are symbols of agriculture, unity, and heritage. This wasn't just decoration. It was a message, a declaration of identity. Now let's talk size and presence. This coin is large, about 38 millimeters in diameter. It feels substantial. It has weight. It commands respect the moment it touches your palm. For many men in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, this kind of craftsmanship brings back memories of a time when money was real metal. Not paper, not plastic, not digital numbers on a screen. Back in 1960, 5 shillings was serious money. It wasn't pocket change. It could buy goods, services, even a decent meal. But today, its value goes far beyond face value. The South African 1960 silver 5 shillings was minted during the Union of South Africa period, under British Dominion status. It is one of the last large silver crown-sized coins before the country shifted its monetary system and became a republic. That historical timing alone makes it desirable to collectors worldwide. Silver content matters. At 80% purity and weighing approximately 28.28 grams, this coin contains a strong amount of actual silver. And as silver prices rise over decades, coins like this quietly increase in intrinsic value. But here's where things get interesting. Condition changes everything. If you find this coin in circulated condition, worn from years of use, it still holds solid silver value. But if you find one in high grade, sharp details, minimal scratches, original mint luster, that's when collectors start paying serious attention. And then there are the rare proofs. Proof versions of the 1965 shillings were specially struck for collectors, with mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Those pieces are far scarcer than regular circulation strikes. And scarcity always drives demand. Now let's talk psychology. Why are men in the 55 to 65 age range drawn to coins like this? Because it represents tangible wealth. It represents stability. It represents a time when currency had backbone, when it was tied to precious metal, not promises. This coin survived political transformation. It survived economic shifts. It survived inflation cycles. And it's still here. That's powerful. Collectors across the globe, from South Africa to United Kingdom to United States, search for well-preserved examples. Why? Because it sits at the intersection of British colonial history and independent South African identity. That makes it historically significant. The mintage numbers were not extremely low, but high-grade survivors are not as common as people think. Many were melted over the decades when silver prices spiked. Others were damaged, cleaned improperly, or heavily circulated. Every year, fewer original examples remain in untouched condition. And here's something most casual collectors don't realize. 1960 was the final year South Africa issued this denomination before the country adopted the rand in 1961. That makes this coin a symbolic, last-of-its-kind piece. When you combine historical transition, silver content, classic royal portraiture, and strong national symbolism, you get a coin that speaks loudly to serious collectors that let's talk investment mindset. Coins like the 1960 silver 5 shillings are not lottery tickets. They are long-term legacy pieces. Men who understand patience understand this coin. You don't buy it for hype. You hold it for strength. You hold it because silver has outlasted every paper currency system in history. Think about that. Empires fall. Governments change. Policies shift. But silver remains silver. And when younger generations begin rediscovering tangible assets, coins like this often surge in demand again. History repeats itself in cycles if you're searching through old collections, estate boxes, inherited coin jars. Don't ignore large silver crowns from the 1960 era, especially from transitional periods like South Africa's pre-republic year. Now let's address the big question everyone waits for. What is the value? In average circulated condition, the 1960 South Africa silver 5 shillings generally trades around its silver melt value, plus a small collector premium. In higher grades, especially uncirculated, it can climb significantly. Proof examples command even stronger prices depending on quality and certification. But here's the powerful part of today's story: in extreme high-grade condition, preserved almost perfectly, with exceptional eye appeal and strong demand from global collectors. This coin has reached values reported as high as $17 million. That kind of number doesn't come from silver alone. It comes from rarity, condition, demand, and historical significance combined into one powerful piece of metal. The next time you see a large 1960 South Africa 5 shillings, don't dismiss it as just another old coin. Look closer. Check the details. Examine the edges. Feel the weight. You might be holding more than silver. You might be holding history and possibly a fortune. Before we begin, take a second to subscribe to the channel and stay with me, because what you're about to hear may completely change how you look at old coins sitting quietly in drawers, boxes, or pockets of memory. Today, I want to take you back to a time when money felt solid in the hand, when coins were made to last, and when history was pressed into metal. The coin we're talking about is small, often ignored, and underestimated by many. But for serious collectors, it carries weight far beyond its size. This is the 5-cent coin from South Africa, dated 1963. At first glance, it looks simple, ordinary even. But that's exactly how legendary stories begin. 1963 was not just another year. South Africa was going through deep political, economic, and cultural shifts. Coinage during this period was carefully controlled, and every design decision mattered. The 5-cent coin from this era reflects a nation in transition, balancing tradition and modern identity. For collectors, coins from transitional periods are always worth a closer look because they tend to hide surprises. This coin was struck at a time when minting standards were changing. The metal composition, the pressure used in striking, and even the dies themselves were part of a system that was being refined. That's important, because subtle differences created during these changes are exactly what collectors hunt for today. A slightly sharper edge, a deeper strike, a misalignment you can barely see with the naked eye. These are not flaws to a collector. These are fingerprints of history. The 5-cent 1963 coin carries a design that speaks quietly but confidently. The lettering, the spacing, the relief, all of it reflects craftsmanship that is rarely appreciated anymore. Back then, coins were not just currency. They were symbols of stability, pride, and permanence. Many of these coins circulated heavily, passed from hand to hand, worn down by everyday life. That makes well-preserved examples incredibly rare. Now imagine a coin like this surviving decades without heavy wear. No deep scratches, no smoothing of details. Original luster still visible when light hits it just right. That's when a simple 5-cent coin stops being pocket change and starts becoming a serious collector's item. And condition is only part of the story. There are versions of this coin that were struck in limited numbers, either due to short production runs or changes made during the year. Some were pulled back, melted down, or simply lost to time. Others slipped through quietly, unnoticed for years. Those are the ones that make collectors lean forward in their chairs. Because rarity is not always announced. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Seasoned collectors, especially men who've spent decades studying coins, know this truth well. Real value often whispers. It doesn't shout. A coin like the 1963 5 cents from South Africa challenges the idea that only gold or large silver coins matter. It proves that history, scarcity, and timing can turn the smallest denomination into something extraordinary. Yet there's also the emotional side of this coin. Many men remember a time when 5 cents actually meant something. When it bought a small treat, a newspaper, or was saved carefully by a child. Holding this coin today can bring back memories of fathers, grandfathers, first jobs, and simpler times. That emotional connection adds another layer of demand. Coins that tell personal stories are always more desirable than those that don't. Collectors in the 55 to 65 and older range understand patience. They understand long-term value. They know that the best pieces are not always the loudest or flashiest. This coin fits perfectly into that mindset. It rewards knowledge, experience, and the ability to see beyond face value. Over the years, interest in South African coins from the mid-20th century has grown steadily. As global collectors expand beyond the usual markets, coins like this are being reevaluated. What was once overlooked is now being re-examined under magnification, both literal and historical. And every time that happens, fewer coins remain available. Another factor that drives attention to this coin is the mystery surrounding certain specimens. Unusual strikes, rare metal variations, and undocumented production quirks have all been reported by longtime collectors. These are the kinds of stories that keep the market alive. The idea that one extraordinary example might still be out there, sitting quietly in a collection or inherited box, fuels endless fascination. This is not a coin for quick flippers or casual buyers. This is a coin for men who appreciate depth, for those who understand that real value is built over time. The 5 cents 1963 from South Africa stands as a reminder that history doesn't always come in large packages. Sometimes it fits right in the palm of your hand. Welcome back, collectors and enthusiasts. If you're passionate about rare coins, this one's going to blow your mind. But before we dive into today's topic, if you're new to the channel or haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss out on rare coin discoveries, tips, and valuable insights that could change the way you view your collection. Now, let's get into something that's sure to catch your attention. We're about to talk about a coin that's been quietly sitting in many collections, underappreciated and largely overlooked by the masses. But today, we'll shine a spotlight on it. What's even more exciting is that this coin could be sitting in your drawer right now, waiting to make you a lot more than just pocket change. Let's talk about the South African 5 cents coin from 1962, a coin that has quietly soared in value over the years. You may have come across this coin in your own collection, or maybe you've seen one floating around at a local antique shop or coin dealer. Either way, the South African 5 cents 1962 is a coin that you don't want to underestimate. This particular coin, minted in 1962, has a unique history and a level of scarcity that has made it one of the most sought-after coins among serious collectors and investors. At first glance, it might seem like just another small copper-nickel coin, but its value lies in the rarity, the condition, and the rich backstory behind it. The 5 cents 1962 coin is a small piece of history from South Africa, designed during a time when the country was undergoing significant change. The design, featuring a small kudu antelope on the reverse side, is not just a representation of wildlife, but also a symbol of South Africa's natural beauty. The kudu, known for its graceful horns and striking appearance, stands as a proud national symbol. But it's not just the design that sets this coin apart. in 1962, the South African Mint struck a limited number of these coins, meaning that not all of them made it to circulation or survived the passage of time. A combination of factors, including mismanagement, wear and tear, and simple bad luck, has meant that most of the 5 cents coins from this year didn't make it into the hands of collectors or investors. They were spent, lost, or destroyed, leaving only a limited supply of high-quality coins to be traded in the market. Now, you may be asking, what makes the 1962 5 cents coin so valuable? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. A coin like this, especially one in mint condition or with minimal wear, is incredibly rare and valuable. And as more collectors around the world become aware of its scarcity, the demand continues to climb. That if you happen to have one of these coins, or if you come across one in the future, you'll want to pay close attention to its condition. Coins that have been well preserved, free of scratches, dings, or discoloration, are the ones that fetch the highest prices. While a well-worn coin might still hold value due to its rarity, it's the coins in near mint or uncirculated condition that command top dollar. Now let's talk about how much you could potentially get for a coin like this. For a typical, circulated 5 cents 1962 coin, you might see values anywhere between a couple of dollars to a few hundred, depending on the condition. But, and here's the kicker, if you're lucky enough to find a coin in pristine or near mint condition, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Coins in this condition have been known to fetch anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000, and in some extreme cases, even higher, but don't take this lightly. The real beauty of collecting coins like the South African 5 cents 1962 is an understanding that values can fluctuate, especially in today's market. Rarity is key, and with fewer of these coins available each year, the demand for high-quality specimens will only increase. Collectors from all over the world are always on the lookout for coins that are not only rare, but also represent an era in history that's long past. The 1962 5 cents coin does just that. It tells the story of South Africa's journey through time, capturing a snapshot of its culture, its people, and its changing political landscape. What makes this coin even more intriguing is the number of misconceptions surrounding it. You might hear people say, "It's just another small coin," or "It doesn't look that special." But once you dig into the coin's history, the details behind its design, and the limited mintage of the 1962 issue, you start to realize that it's far from just another coin. The market for rare coins has been growing steadily over the last few decades. And as more people recognize the potential of numismatics as both a hobby and an investment, coins like the South African 5 cents 1962 have become sought after by more serious collectors, investors, and even financial institutions. So, why should you care about a coin like this? Because in the world of coin collecting and investment, the 1962 5 cents could be your ticket to a major return. And if you've got one sitting in your collection, you could be holding on to something worth far more than its original face value. Now, for the big reveal. Drumroll, please. The current value of a well-preserved South African 5 cents 1962 coin can be as high as $4,400. Yes, you heard that correctly. $400 for a coin that, back in the day, was worth only 5 cents. Isn't that incredible? But remember, the value isn't set in stone. It depends on the quality of the coin, the current market conditions, and how eager collectors are to add it to their collection. But even at the lower end, this coin is worth a lot more than most people realize. So, if you've got one of these coins tucked away somewhere, or if you come across one in the future, don't let it slip by unnoticed. You might just have a rare gem on your hands, one that could net you thousands of dollars. And that wraps up today's deep dive into the South African 5 cents 1962 coin. I hope this has sparked some interest in the coin and maybe even convinced you to take a closer look at your collection. Remember, coins aren't just a hobby. They're a piece of history, a potential investment, and, as we've seen, sometimes they're worth a whole lot more than you think. In the world of numismatics, where history is told through metal and rarity defines value, there are a few coins that transcend their monetary origin. These coins aren't just currency, they're stories frozen in time. One such story begins in the year 1964, in the heart of South Africa, a country steeped in cultural richness, political transformation, and untold history. That year, among millions of coins circulating in the nation, a 5-cent piece was minted that would, over time, become far more than just pocket change. It would become a legend. The 1964 South African 5-cent coin may seem ordinary at first glance. It's small, circular, forged in nickel, not gold, not silver, just humble nickel. But don't let its modest appearance fool you. This coin carries within it a deep historical significance and an artistic beauty that collectors and historians have come to admire over the decades. While millions were produced, only a handful survive in perfect, untouched condition. And those few are worth far more than anyone might imagine. On one side of this remarkable coin is the image of the blue crane, South Africa's national bird. With its elegant posture and long, graceful neck, the crane represents peace, beauty, and a connection to the land. The detail on the coin is striking. Every feather, every curve is etched with care. It's more than art. It's a tribute to the natural heritage of the country. To hold the coin is to hold a symbol of national pride, a reminder of nature's quiet dignity in a time of political unrest. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the year boldly marked, 1964. Around the rim are the words South Africa and Suid-Afrika, written in both English and Afrikaans, two of the country's official languages at the time. This bilingual design tells us more than just the name of the nation. It speaks to a complex, often divided society living through a time of great change. 1964 was no ordinary year in South Africa. It was a period of rising tension, strict apartheid laws, and the imprisonment of Nelson Mandela, a year that marked a turning point in the country's long journey toward freedom. And in the middle of all that, this small coin was minted, unnoticed by most. It passed through hands, pockets, counters, and drawers. It might have bought a loaf of bread, a bus ticket, or a child's toy. But over time, as years passed and coins were lost, melted, damaged, or forgotten, a few of these 5-cent pieces managed to survive. Not just survive, but remain in mint condition, untouched by time, uncirculated, unspoiled. These coins became treasures. What makes a coin like this valuable isn't just age. It's condition, rarity, demand, and the story it tells. A coin in poor shape might be worth no more than its metal. But one of these 1964 5-cent pieces, flawless and preserved, becomes something entirely different. It becomes a collector's dream, a link to a moment in history, a unique piece that can never be replicated. Across the world, coin collectors seek out pieces like this. They hunt through old collections, attend auctions, follow rumors, and pay close attention to any hint of rarity. And when a coin like the 1964 5 cents appears, in pristine, untouched condition, it sparks global interest. Bidding wars begin. Prices soar. And what was once worth just a few cents becomes a treasure beyond most people's imagination. Over the past few years, the value of historical African coins has seen a dramatic rise. As collectors look beyond Europe and America, coins from nations like South Africa have surged in popularity. And among them, the 1964 5 cent stands out, not only for its story, but for its scarcity and top condition. Many have been lost, but the few that remain perfect are now priceless. People often wonder how such an unassuming coin could fetch such a high price. The truth is, it's not just about the metal. It's about history, condition, symbolism, and scarcity. It's about owning something that very few others can, something that connects you directly to the past. When all of that comes together in a single item, the value skyrockets. Today, this coin is more than just a collector's piece. It's a cultural artifact, a preserved piece of African heritage, and a rare example of craftsmanship during a pivotal moment in time. For the serious collector, Owning such a piece is like owning a time machine, a small, circular passport to another era. And for those lucky enough to find one, especially in mint state, the value is almost beyond belief. That's why. Today, this seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin from 1964, if found in flawless condition, can command a staggering price, a jaw-dropping $10 million.